Today I will discuss, rather I will share with you few public health rules, or rather we can say the acts that will be applicable in your day-to-day life while you will start to provide services to the people. Maybe as an individual sometimes, maybe as a group, people may come to you for solving their problems as well as the community. Virtually, you have the scope to work with the employees of any organizations. The questions may come or may rise in your mind that I may not work with the industrial worker. I may not work in the mines. But you have to work with the community as a whole. Maybe to deal with the individuals' problems, as far as their health is concerned. So relating to these, there are very many laws, but few acts are applicable. First act that I would like to deal or discuss with you is the Employees State Insurance Act. Perhaps you may come across the words when the occupational health or industrial health has been discussed with you along with different occupational diseases, occupational hazards. Specifically, I will deal with this act. Before discussing about the acts, I would like to tell you one word, that is ergonomics. Anybody has heard this name, the word ergonomics? Perhaps these may have discussed in other classes relating to occupational health, occupational diseases or industrial health. Nobody? Ergonomics? That is the meaning of ergonomics, fitting the job to the worker. That is called ergonomics. This act deals with different aspects of the life of the worker, especially when the worker or the employees will be within the institutions, or rather I can say within their working hours. During working hours, they may have to confront different injuries, different accidents, uncongenial atmosphere, uncongenial environment, working environment. For that reasons, the act was enacted. Basically, for two purposes, the act was enacted. Number one, for social security, and number two, social insurance. Or rather I can say social security and health insurance. For two reasons mainly, this act was enacted in the year 1948. So this is the background. Then I start. Passed in the year 1942. The ESI Act was passed in the year 1948. It is an important measure of social security and health insurance in India. According to the Act, the employees are entitled to two types of benefit. One is cash, another was medical benefits. In case of their sickness, in case of their injury, in case of their maternity or accidents. So for 4 purposes they can get cash benefit as well as medical benefit. When number 1, in case of sickness, if they become sick out of their services, they may injure. In case of that also, then in case of maternity, that is applicable for the females, and last one is for the accidents also. This act was amended very many times. Last amendment was in 2010. It was first amended in the year 1975, thereafter 1984, then 1989, and last amendment was in the year 2010. Now, where, for whom it is applicable? This act extends to whole of India. It covers all power using industries or all power using organizations where 10 or more workers are employed ordinarily. So where it is applicable? This is applicable in all establishments where 10 or more employees are employed or workers are working, except few organizations or establishments where there is separate laws for dealing with all the matters that will be discussed under Employees State Insurance Act. What are those organizations? Number 1 is rail, next one is mines and defense, because they have their separate laws that deal with the same purposes. With effect from 3rd July 2010, there was the last amendment. This act covers all employees. Previously, it was dealt with only the workers who are supposed to operate machines and works in the industries, but after that, whatever positions they may occur during their job, like clerks, manual laborer, supervisory workers, including technical supervisors or technical persons, but one condition is there, those whose monthly wage maximum is 21,000 per month. That is the criteria. It is applicable for all. For all industries where 10, in case of power using industries, 10 or more workers are employed at the same time whose wage is up to 21,000 rupees per month. The provision of the ESI Amendment Act 2010, it includes almost all the organizations. Number 1, again I repeat, small power using industries where 10 to 19 workers are employed, and in case of non-power using industries where 20 or more workers are employed. Number 2, any shops. The condition is that in case of power using 10, in case of non-power using industries or organizations 20. Hotels and restaurants, cinemas and theatres, road and motor transport organizations or establishment, newspaper establishment, and including agricultural sectors. So it is applicable for all the sectors except mines, railways, defense, where there is separate laws for dealt with. Only conditions, 2 conditions. Number 1, in case of power using industries or organizations, 10 or more, but in case of non-power using industries or organizations, 20 or more. Number 1 condition. Number 2, monthly wage maximum কত? বলো বলো ভুলে গেলে নাকি? কত? Nobody? কত টাকা? বলো 21,000 maximum. monthly wage 21,000. These are the conditions. Now, how the administration runs? Who will be in the top of the ESI? Usually this ESI, the benefits of ESI is governed by a corporation that is called Employee State Insurance Corporations. So, whether the provisions that are made under this act will be implemented or not, for that reasons, to look after this, there is corporations that is called Employees State Insurance Corporations, heading by a chairman. Chairman is the Minister of Labour, Union Minister of Labour, Government of India. Next, who will be the Vice Chairman? Secretary to the Government of India, Ministry of Labour. And third category, it members, okay, consists of members representing central and state government, employers, employees organizations, medical professions and parliament. Previously already I told you that this administration of ESI scheme under the act is entrusted to an autonomous body that is called ESIC, Employee State Insurance Corporation. Is it clear? Administrations, heading, who is heading the administrations? Union Minister of Labour, Vice Chairman, Secretary to the Minister of Labour, Government of India. And then third category, members, employers representations, employees representations, medical professionals, then few parliamentary people, they are the members of the ESIC, Employee State Insurance Corporation. Now, then question comes about the finance. How the finance are made? What are the sources of the fund? Okay. Number one, for all employees whose earning is less than equal to 21,000 rupees per month, who will contribute 1.75% from their wage, and employer will contribute 4.75%. Okay. Number one conditions, 1.75% from the salary or wage of the employees will be deducted, and that will be deposited to ESI fund, and 4.75% contributions will come from the employer. Number one. Next, who will be exempted? Those means the workers whose daily wage is below 176 টাকা per month. They are exempted. That means they will enjoy or they will get the benefits of ESI schemes, but they have not to contribute anything. Now about the expenses, that expenses will be incurred by the state government as well as central government. For medical care, 1/8 of the cost will be borne by the state government, and 7/8 of the cost, medical care cost will be borne by the central government. Clear? 1/8 একের 8 অংশ দেবে স্টেট গভর্নমেন্ট আর 7/8 অংশ দেবে central government. Okay. So this is about the finance, but employer contributions 4.75% of the wages of individual worker and 1.75% contributions from the employees. Who will be exempted? যাদের wage, daily wage less than 176 rupees, they have not to contribute anything, but they will get all the benefits under Employee State Insurance Act. Now, this is more relevant for you because you are supposed to know in details about the benefits to be provided or the benefits that the workers, or rather I should say employees, will get from employees state insurance corporations. Number one, 6 types of benefits usually they get. Number one is medical benefit, next one is sickness benefit, next one is maternity benefit, then disablement benefit, dependence benefit, and last one is funeral benefit. 6 types of benefits. Let's see what about these 6 types of benefits. Now, first one is medical benefits. What does it mean? That is, medical benefit consists of full medical care. Full medical care, including hospitalizations, including what I should say, all the medicines, appliances, dressing materials, everything. Okay. So, this service comprises OPD, number 2, supply of drugs and dressings, including specialty services, all the pathological as well as, or rather I should say, radiological services, domiciliary services, then care, antenatal care, natal care as well as postnatal care, immunization services, family planning services, all emergency services including ambulance services, then education for promotion of health, IPD, inpatient department will be there, they may be get admitted as far as need, provision of dentures, spectacles, hearing aids, but those who are incapacitated during their or for their injury during their employment. And next, provision of artificial limbs, special appliances such as hernia belt, surgical boots, spinal braces, etc. What not? All the facilities, medical benefits, they will get out of this act. Now, how they will get? How they will get? Once I told you about the finance, then I discussed about the source of finance. Likewise, medical benefit, then how they will get the benefit. Usually, there are 2 processes or pattern I should say. One is direct, another is indirect. Direct pattern that perhaps all of you know through the hospitals. ESI corporations has very many hospitals in different states, that is called ESI hospitals. They can get all the medical benefits from the hospitals as well as dispensaries. These are called direct services. Dispensaries means what? Full-time dispensaries will be there apart from these ESI hospitals, where thousands or more workers resides in an area. There will be a provision of dispensary, full-time dispensaries. What about the structures? Manpower, medical officers will be there, as well as paramedical workers will be there. These medical officers will get remunerations in case of this indirect pattern. And what is indirect pattern? Where there is no hospitals, no dispensaries, full-time or part-time, where there will be no dispensaries, where the employees are scattered, residing in scattered areas. Okay. Direct pattern already I have discussed. Okay. In case of employees where 1000 employees will be there. There will be full-time dispensaries that I told you, medical officers and paramedical personnel. Yes, on an average, one doctor used to look after 80 patients and per day one home visit. In areas where only 750 units, that means 750 employees are there in one area. In that area, a part-time dispensaries, okay, part-time medical officers will be there, paramedical officers there. And in case of area where the employees do not reside in a concentrated way, but they reside in scattered area, okay. Perhaps you have heard about the name scatter diagram when you have attended the discussions of biostatistics, scatter diagram. So in that case, there will be no dispensaries, but mobile dispensaries will be there. And next one is indirect pattern. I told you the direct pattern is clear. Either hospitals or dispensaries, either full dispensaries or part-time dispensaries, where 1000 cars are there full-time, where 750s are there part-time, where the area is scattered, in that case mobile dispensaries. Apart from this direct pattern, there is a provision of indirect pattern. In the case of indirect pattern, what happens, you see, panel of medical officers, usually called panel doctors. Panel doctors will be there. Few panel doctors will be there. Those who have enlisted their name under ESI corporations, they used to look after or see the patients who are industrial workers or who are under ESI scheme. Next benefit is sickness benefit. In case of indirect pattern, what happens, you see, usually the employees who require medical treatment, they used to visit these panel doctors, and these remunerations will be paid by the ESI corporations, including the medicines. This is all about the medical benefit. And next one is sickness benefit, that is the additional advantage. Sickness benefit means when the workers will become sick, they will get, or they are entitled to get, cash benefit. In case of sickness, if their sickness is duly certified by registered medical practitioners, for how many days they will get these sickness benefits? Per year, maximum 91 days if they become sick, and that too it will be authorized by registered medical practitioners, usually for 91 days. Okay. During these sickness days, they are entitled to get 70% of their wage, apart from the normal wage. Say for example, I am getting per day 200. Okay. During the sickness, I will get per day 140 rupees in addition to my monthly wage. Is it clear? That too will be maximum for 91 days. That is again lucrative. For that reason, what happened? Many a times the workers usually become sick, they go to the medical practitioners, they prescribe their medicines and they have to show it, then they will get 70% of their wages. In addition to these 91 days, in case of exceptional cases, in case of few enlisted diseases, in which case they will get extended sickness benefit up to 2 years. They can get this benefit, okay? If they suffer from, or if they suffer by different types of complicated diseases, long-term diseases like leprosy, like HIV/AIDS, like tuberculosis. These for examples, okay? Accordingly, 34 diseases are enlisted under extended sickness benefits with effect from 1st January 2010. In case where the insured persons has been in continuous employment for 2 years. Continuous 2 years service করার পর they will be entitled to get extended sickness benefit. So that is all about the two benefits, and third one is maternity benefit. This is applicable for definitely women employees during their course of pregnancy. If they become sick, if they become ill, or if they are compelled to become in the own house, in their own house, not able to go to the work, and at the same time during also miscarriage or any sickness related to pregnancy, they are entitled to get benefits with full wages, okay? In case of confinement, they will get these benefits up to 12 weeks, that is 84 days. For miscarriage, they will get leave for 6 weeks, and for sickness arising out or due to pregnancy, they will get 30 days leave with wage, full wage. And next benefit is disablement benefit. If any employee become disabled due to injury, due to accident in course of their work, that may be temporary, that may be permanent. In case of temporary disablement, they will get the benefit until they recover from this temporary disablement. The rate of temporary disablement benefit is about 90% of their wage, as long as the temporary disablement lasts. In case of total permanent disablement, may be partial, may be full, okay? The insured person is given life pensions. That pensions will be calculated according to their number of service depends. That means how much amount they are supposed to get if they would have been in the full service. In that way, it will be calculated, okay? And a portion of it is granted as life pensions. Next one is dependent benefits. In case of death of insured persons, their dependents are entitled to get few benefits for periodical payments. Pensions at the rate of 70% of the wages they will get, and that will be shared by their dependents according to the share that has been highlighted, or that has been, what I should say, that has been recorded during the service. Perhaps you may have the idea that whenever a person join as a worker, they have to fill up a form, okay, that is called service records. In the service records, shares will be highlighted. Who will get how much shares after my death, if it happens during or course of employment. Okay. Who will be eligible? Wives is eligible, as well as the eligible son or daughter until they attain the age of 25 years. Before 25 years, if a daughter get married, then she will not be entitled to get that benefits. Not up to 18 years. In that case, it will be until they attain the age of 25 years. And last one is benefits. As far as the benefit is concerned, that is the last benefit, that is funeral benefit. After the death of the insured persons, the dependents will get maximum 15,000 rupees as funeral costs. Okay? That is all about the benefits. And apart from these benefits, another benefits the dependents will get, that is called rehabilitations. At the same time, the insured persons after retirement, he is also entitled to get medical benefits, but the condition is that they have to deposit or give rupees 10 per month to ESI corporations. Then all the dependents along with the insured persons will get the benefits under ESI Act. So that is all about the workers' benefits. And what about the benefits of the employer? Number one, employer. Hello, bolo. I will recapitulate. For workers, employers are contributing 4.75%. So what benefit they will get then? Number one, exemptions. Apart from this ESI Act, there are very many number of public health acts that I told you. Another one is Workmen's Compensation Act. They will be debarred. Employers, they are not liable to give the benefits or provide the benefits under Workmen's Compensation Act. At the same time, exemption from Maternity Benefit Act, exemption from payment of any medical allowances, state government employees or central government employees or any employees, those who work in an organization, they are supposed to get medical allowances per month. But in that case, employer has not to provide these medical allowances. Next one, the employer will get the rebate under Income Tax Act on contribution deposited in the ESI Act, that 4.75%. And last one, the employer will get the healthy workforce. That is all about the Employees State Insurance Act. Now, I will ask about your feedback. Then I will recapitulate, then I will discuss another act. Any questions from your part? Any questions from your part? How many benefits? Types of benefits? 6. Including rehabilitation 7. ঠিক আছে, 6টা benefit including rehabilitation 7 রকমের benefit. Okay. During their whole life যদি তারা 10 টাকা ডিপোজিট করে, the condition একটাই, আর একটা আছে যেটা আমি বললাম না তোমাদেরকে, that I did not tell you intentionally, that in 2021 one bill was passed, rule not act. According to that rule, this limit, the limit as far as the wage is concerned had been enhanced, that is up to 25,000. ওটা ছিল 21,000, সেটা 25,000 হয়েছে। এখন যেহেতু অ্যাক্টে পরিণত হয়নি, দ্যাটস ওয়াই ইন্টারন্যাশনালি আই ডিড নট ডিসকাস। এটা একটা কন্ডিশন। 2 নম্বর হতে হবে কি, কাজ করতে হবে, সার্ভিসে থাকতে হবে। এনি অর্গানাইজেশন পেতে পারে যদি নাম্বার অফ ওয়ার্কার্স ইন কেস অফ পাওয়ার ইউজিং 10 আর ইন কেস অফ নন পাওয়ার ইউজিং 20 এমপ্লয়ি থাকলেই দে উইল বি আন্ডার এমপ্লয়িজ স্টেট ইন্স্যুরেন্স অ্যাক্ট। এই তো ফুল মেডিকেল বেনিফিট, sickness benefit, that is additional benefit. Then women employees are entitled to maternity benefit. Then disablement benefit. Next one is dependent benefit, funeral benefit, and last one is rehabilitative benefit. That rehabilitations by giving a token money per month, ₹10. So that is all about Employee State Insurance Act. And these 34 diseases are included under extended benefit. Okay, different types of industries are there. Out of that, say for example, dye industry, cotton industry, cane fiber industries, asbestos industries, silica industries, coal industries bad jabe. All type of industries are there. So during their course of employment, they may have to suffer by very many diseases. They will get these benefits. Okay, that is all about Employees State Insurance Act 1948. Last amendment 2010, rule 2021, that is not implemented till today. In that case, the limit of wage has been enhanced to 25,000 per month. Okay, that is all about ESI. Next act I will discuss in a miniature form. That is called the first act. That is called Factories Act 1948. Each and every factories, medical officers will be there. So medical personnel has to know about this act. That is the first act. If we trace the history of this Factories Act, it was first founded during the British period, British colonial period rather. The first act was enacted or passed in the year 1881. During that time, this act focuses on two issues. Number one, child labor, and number two, basic working conditions. So before that, childs were used to employed as a worker in the industry. So that was prohibited after 1881. This act was revised and amended several times. The last amendment was in the year 1987. Now, what are the objectives of this act? Number one, to secure health, safety and welfare measures to all the industrial workers. That is the first objectives. That means to look after the health. Number two, safety and welfare of the workers. Number two, to regulate working hours and leave entitlements. Next one, to protect women and young persons. Next one, to mandate appropriate facilities. Just for examples, clean drinking water, then provision of clean drinking water, ventilations, etc. within the factory premises and other benefits also. Okay. Then where this act will be applicable? This act is applicable in any factory establishment, again employing 10 or more workers in power using factories and 20 or more workers in non-power using factories. There is no distinctions between perennial and seasonal factories. Perennial and seasonal বুঝো তো? সিজনাল ফ্যাক্টরি বুঝো তো, একটা নির্দিষ্ট সিজনে ফ্যাক্টরিটা খুলবে আবার বন্ধ হয়ে যাবে। স্পেসিফিকলি আই ক্যান গিভ ওয়ান এক্সাম্পল, দ্যাট ইজ কেন ইন্ডাস্ট্রি, সুগার কেন ইন্ডাস্ট্রি। Okay, during the crushing period they used to open, then it closed, but this is applicable for all. Perennial means round the year the factory runs. The 1976 Amendment Act modifies the definition of workers, where contract laborers are also included under workers, who are entitled to get all the benefits provided under Factories Act 1948. Now, for implementation of this provision of this act, who are responsible, who are empowered? The state government are authorized to appoint few persons who are used to supervise whether these provisions under this act are implemented or not. One, chief inspectors, then additional chief inspectors, joint chief inspectors, deputy chief inspectors, and number of inspectors. It varies according to state, but state government are interested or rather empowered or rather authorized to form or appoint these types of personnel who used to look after whether the provisions are implemented by the factory owner or by their management. First, health, safety and welfare. That is the first objectives of Factories Act 1948. There are mainly 4 chapters. That there are different chapters. More than 20 chapters are there, but we will deal only those chapters who deal with our health or safety, working hours and provisions of amenities and facilities. Chapter 3, Chapter 4, Chapter 4A and Chapter 5 deals with health, safety and welfare. Elaborate provisions are there in this act. This act provides provisions the following. Number 1, cleanliness in the factory premises must be ensured. Then lighting, then ventilations, treatment of waste and effluents, elimination of dust and fumes, provision of spittoons, control of temperature, supply of cool drinking water during summer. Then space, per capita space, minimum 500 cubic feet must be provided for a single worker, not considering above the 14 feet in case of measuring the height. That means length, breadth and height. In case of height, only we will measure 14 feet. That too, including these 3, length, breadth and height, that must be 500 cubic feet for each and every worker. But those factories that are installed before 1948, for them this per capita cubic space has been reduced to 350 cubic feet. Okay, 500 and 350. Is it clear? The act also provides in details about the precautions that should be taken for ensuring safety. Okay, what type of safety? That means no workers will be getting injured by carrying or loading or lifting weight from here to there within the factory premises. But you see, this also depends upon state to state. State government has empowered to enlist, to regulate how much kilo, how much kg or what type of loads they or the employers give order may give order to carry or lift the loads. The state government are empowered to prescribe minimum weights for which may be lifted or carried by men, women and children. Okay. In the Amendment Act 1976, provision has been made that one safety officers must be appointed in the factory where thousands or more workers are employed. Okay, one safety officers must be there where thousands or more workers are employed. There is a separate chapter. That chapter is under chapter 5. All the provisions must be provided to the factory workers. Which facilities? Number 1, washing facilities, facilities for storing and drying clothes, facilities for sitting, first aid appliances, shelters, rest room, lunch room, canteen or creche. So these are the minimum facilities that must be provided by the employer to the workers or employees. Is it clear? According to this act or that act specifies where more than 250 workers are there, ordinary employed, there must be a canteen. Okay. Where 250 workers or more workers are employed, there must be provision of a canteen. Where 30 or more female workers are employed, there must be a provision of a creche. Where there are 500 or more workers are ordinarily employed, there must be a welfare officers. So 4 conditions. Number 1, where thousands or more workers are employed, একজন safety officer, যেখানে 250 বা তার বেশি ওয়ার্কার আছে সেখানে একটা ক্যান্টিন, where 30 or more women workers are employed, there must be a creche, and where 500 or more workers are employed, one welfare officer must be appointed. Next, about that was the basic concern, employment of young persons. Children are prohibited to work in a factory according to the Factories Act 1948. Children whose age is below 14 years or up to 14 years, they are not entitled to work in any factory. But according to the Factories Act, persons or individuals belonging to the age group of 15 to 18 years, they are called adolescents. But in health, we call adolescents. Who are those adolescents? According to the RCH Act, adolescents কাকে বলবো আমরা? পড়ানো তো হয়ে গেছে. I think it has been discussed. RCH Act, Reproduction of Child Health Act, not yet discussed. Okay, if it is not discussed, okay. According to RCH Act, adolescent means 10 to 19 years. But in case of Factories Act, adolescent means 15 to 18 years. They are entitled to work in a factory, provided they are certified by a certifying surgeons, indicating that these boys or girls whose age belong to age group of 15 to 18 years are entitled to work or entitled, not fit for work. Okay. Restrictions have been laid down on employment of women and children in certain dangerous occupations. Adolescent employees are allowed to work only adolescents. Children are not employed. Adolescent employees only 6 AM to 7 PM during day. Next is working hours. Okay. maximum per week 48 hours, including overtime maximum 60 hours per day, usually 9 hours, continuous after continuous work of 5 hours, half hours break. Okay, 5 ঘন্টা কাজ করার পর আধ ঘন্টা break in case of normal employee, I mean adult employees. In case of adolescent employees, after continuous work of 4.5 hours, half hour break. Altogether in a week, along with the work time, total hours of work must not exceed 60 hours. After amendment, this per day working hours along with the work time was 10.5 hours, 10.5 ঘন্টা. Now it has enhanced to maximum 12 hours. Leave with page. Apart from the patient bench, apart from the weekly holidays, weekly holidays, all employees, those who are in continuous service, are entitled to get 1 day leave for each 20 days working days. 20 দিন কাজ করার পর একদিন leave in case of adult employees, in case of adolescent employees. After working 15 days, continuous 15 days, they are entitled to get 1 day leave, and that leave will be accumulated for adult employees up to 30 days. যদি না নেয় তাহলে আমরা বলি পচে যাওয়া, নষ্ট হয়ে যাবে. In case of adolescents, the leaves can be accumulated up to 40 days. Occasional disease, okay, employment hazard, okay, that's all, okay.